Hello, good morning. There's a few, if not several, topics that I like to revisit. I just scrolled through the previous 86 videos to check the titles to see if indeed or how often I've revisited areas that I thought were worth the effort. And so, Room with a View, and I thought I'd done one called Safe Harbors. Probably have referred to Safe Harbors before. And today I'm going back to Padun again, shelter from the storm, to emphasize how important it is that you build your own sanctuary, physical, mental, emotional. If you could combine them all in one place, better yet, I have this room that I'm safe and surrounded by. And it is a room with a view. It prompted that particular chapter or episode, sitting here looking out. And I knew that one of my practices in meditation, and pretty much early on, years and years ago, 40, 50 years ago, was to create a sanctuary, to visualize a place, usually a mountaintop. Sometimes it was a forest setting, sometimes it was ocean setting. Sometimes it was a meadow from my youth, hiking on Tantya's Mountain on Oahu in Hawaii. Tantya's beautiful, beautiful, sacred place. And we had a meadow that we had discovered surrounded by Norfolk pines that was tall grass with nothing growing other than the tall grass, again, surrounded by the trees. What the history of it, why it grew different than anywhere else around there, we never knew. We just found it and enjoyed it. You had to hike up a mountain, go through a bamboo forest, and you could see the Norfolk pines because they were the tallest trees, and kind of aim. And after a while, like any path that you frequent, you kind of knew the nooks and crannies, and you could get there without much thought. Effort was necessary, but effort made the reward. So this was one of the things I would visualize, this meadow. And as I talk, this is a meadow from 50 years ago, and I can see it just as clearly in my mind's eye as if it was from yesterday. So creating this sanctuary, this place that you feel safe, because there's a time to go out, there's a time to be exposed to others. Although my propensity has always been to be really selective and very, very limiting as to who I interacted with. And old habits die hard, so I hold on to this. I am selective, I am careful, even knowing that have some protection, that the universe protects me, that my spirit guides, Milefo, the court gesture, and Roger Bacon, the Franciscan monk, protect me. But my need for them has lessened. And because they have other work to do, I'm certainly not their only assignment. They're available to one and all. And they make themselves willingly, this is the path they have chosen. They could have left long ago in pursuit of the realms beyond and beyond the beyond. But instead, they've selflessly dedicated themselves to the daunting mission of helping each and every one of us wake up. Helping us, each and every one, to see the unity. To recognize division and separation as illusory. These selfless beings can offer protection, wisdom, guidance. They're basically signposts pointing the way to those of you, to those of us who are able to sit, recognize, and surrender. But in the process, as a respite from going out, of course, we have to go out in our normal, everyday lives, don't we? For me, I've only got one appointment for 2 hours a week where I have to, or I choose to, I should say, go out and attend to this requirement. Other than that, I have a free rein on my time, which is really a luxury. And I'm appreciative of it. I embrace it. I try to use it wisely. And by wisely, I mean there's time to nurture the body through exercise and food. There's time to rest the body through my daily naps and my nightly sleeps. There's times to enrich the body with inquiry, with connecting body and mind, which is soul, to seek the spirit, to visit, to sit around the campfire. I have a vision of sitting around the campfire with the spirit, the great spirit as my Native American friends would refer to it, the great spirit, a powwow in the sky. But these times of going out, these times of participating in the life, the necessary participation to maintain this physical form, our greatest gift. For without it, this spiritual inquiry, this spiritual search requires us to be in a physical form. It's a gift that should be appreciated. And there's also a time to seek sanctuary, to seek peace, to feel safe, so that you can regenerate your soul, your mind, your body, your emotions, your thoughts. And prepare yourself for whatever is coming next. That's why the sanctuary, the shelter from the storm, the safe harbor is so important, because there's no other way to prepare for what's coming, because it's beyond us to know. What we can do is prepare. What we can do is see everything as an opportunity to practice equanimity. That you react or you don't react, lack of reaction, lack of action, lack of engagement to what comes into your world, until you recognize the appropriate times for action. And it's never reaction. Reaction is an immediate response to an occurrence. And it occurs on all the levels. And this is what you're preparing to avoid, is reacting. Reacting by the very word means that you're one step behind. You're not leading the dance. You're following the dance. By doing so, you surrender any hope of steering it or attempting to steer it in ways that you find more constructive. But the beauty of it is that there's a lesson. No matter what happens, there's a lesson to be learned. And we bring our spirit, brings to our soul, to our minds, to our heart, those lessons that we need to have so that we can do better, so that we can resolve whatever the conflicts that bring this into our life are, so that we can resolve them, so that we can be open to new lessons that surely will come, just as the sun comes bringing the dawn. So with new events in life bring opportunities for us to continue growing. There's nothing more important than understanding that this growth doesn't ever stop. It's never completed. We're always a work in progress. And that, to me, is reassuring and offers encouragement, incentive to continue and to welcome the day as it comes to me. What are some other reoccurring important actions, concepts that bear repeating? Well, two immediately come to mind: surrender and surrender yet again. Surrender to the inevitable. Surrender to the possible. Surrender to the impossible. Nothing, my friends, are in our control other than our work on ourselves. And for most of us, we are certainly not in control of ourselves, are we? We're certainly slaves to a mind, most of us. Slaves to possessions, which are fostered by desires, resulting in suffering, because nothing measures up to what your expectations are, other than your spiritual journey, your inquiry, your journey to nowhere, your journey to now here. And the concept of journey in the sense that there's some place to go, that somehow you're traversing, is only a way to encapsulate, to emphasize that the next moment is here. The next moment is always here, isn't it? As soon as I say next moment, it's already next moment. Another point that every time I read or listen to someone else affirm this point, I nod, aha, about the ordinariness of us, about how ordinary it is to wake up. It's so ordinary that it's extraordinary. The ordinary contains the seed of the extraordinary. It's just about perspective and perception. But we all need a constant reminder of how ordinary we are. No matter what title we bring with our name, no matter what tricks the ego is playing on us. And one of its most effective tools is playing on our self-importance. We all want to be important. And we share that. And in some ways, we are important, each and every one of us. But not important in the sense that the selfish, the self-centered sense that most of us grasp. With an intense hunger for the greatest part. And it's only by seeing the ordinariness of self, that you can get past any kind of egoic self-importance. You have to relegate this kind of thinking to the dustbin of history, whereas the only place it really belongs. And of course, I've already mentioned today, the sense of wholeness, the sense of mankind as brothers and sisters, intimately connected, indivisible, reflecting the universal wholeness. And dismissing each and every one of us, dismissing separation, dismissing any division, embracing the wholeness. And this is the kind of things that, this kind of thinking, reminding yourself of the ordinariness of what you're doing each day. Reminding yourself that you want to surrender to the ultimate authority, the ultimate expression. You want to provide yourself with a respite, create a safe space. And if you can't do it, the physical realm, our imagination, our imaginary world is without limits. So even brothers and sisters that are incarcerated, they have no spatial freedom. Their minds can never be imprisoned unless they do so consciously or subconsciously. We cannot imprison our minds. Our minds are free to wander, to imagine. And if we don't have this freedom, we only need to look at ourselves as the source, as the jailer, as the guy with the key. We can open the door. We can let the mind roam. Our minds can become free-ranged, just as chicken and beef for consumption are allowed to wander about, looking for sustenance. And we're blessed with not only sustaining mind, body, and emotions, we're blessed with sustaining our spiritual, our connection from our soul to the spirit realms. We're given this opportunity. It shouldn't be squandered. So whatever would provide shelter from the storm, whatever safe harbor. I like the metaphor of harbor, but you could say safe haven, it could be a cave. But I always come back again and again to the Mother Ocean. Symbolically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, this is where my connection lies. I can go to the mountains, and I often do, and I can appreciate the effort it takes to get to the mountain, to get to the top of the mountain if you should be so lucky. I appreciate the view from there. But if that view, that panorama, can include Mother Ocean, so much the better for me. But for rejuvenation, refreshing, renewal, Mother Ocean has me in her arms. My mountain journeys, the time in the mountains, is more about sanctuary. It's more about exercising the body. It's more about the effort that's put into the climb, the hike, the steps that add up and accumulate. But it's also the sounds, the passiveness. In the mountains here, we're blessed with seeing monkeys, occasionally a snake, but monkeys are coming around when we do hike, hoping for a handout. Well, we're encouraged by convention and legality to not feed the monkeys, because in doing a kind deed, what we think is a kind deed, is really hampering their ability for sustainability based on their own efforts. It's a lot easier to beg than to find sustenance on your own. It's a lot easier to depend on others for sustenance than to provide it for yourself. But what you find is that anything that's provided, no matter how well intentioned from the outside, is fleeting and temporary and subject to change. And it can, most importantly, it can be taken from you. Whereas as you build your sanctuary, as you become secure and complete within yourself, not only are you truly in a safe harbor, a safe haven, or sheltered from the storm, it can't be taken from you. Only you can give it away. But as you gather strength, as you are in your sanctuary, as you do have protection of your spiritual guides, who are constantly watched over by the witness, the silent witness that we can all feel, maybe not identify, but we certainly, if we're quiet, we certainly can hear the silence of the witness, the non-judgmental observation of everything we do, think, or feel. We seek safe harbor to prepare ourselves, to protect ourselves with the idea of preparation. that will be able to go out in the world and share ourselves with others. That we could have opportunities to remind others of the beauty that they have within themselves. That they're never alone. That they're undying. That they are infinite. And words fail to convey. So your being, putting yourself out there, sharing your equanimity, doing your part, however small, to make the world a better place. This is what our sanctuary is all about. This is what seeking sanctuary is, so that we can renew. And the process of renewal means rigorous self-examination, looking at who we are, not who we think we are, or who we've been led to believe, no matter how well-intentioned, who we are. I think from our first breath, as a newborn in this world, we begin to be exposed quite early to what others think we are. At first, it's what we should be, or could be, or would be, the conditional tense, another thing that I dismissed long ago. But why not nurture? Why not protect this new expression of life? Just as we have learned as we get older to protect ourselves, to provide shelter, to provide a safe haven for reflection, for rejuvenation, aimed at renewal, renewed vigor to venture out, motivation to move amongst the many, to make low end impact on those around us, to accept them exactly as they are. This is our mandate. This is our joy. This is our beauty of who and what we are.